Welcome to 1000 PS, the turn of the BMW. I really like this bike. I've ridden this bike before. I kind of know what to expect. I rode it in Almeria, I rode it on the road in Spain. It is such a good bike. BMW just tweaked it a little bit, like a little bit more power. I think we're just, it's a high 160s, just shy of 170 brake. Tweaked the chassis a little bit. We've got the full dynamic package, so we've got the semi-active suspension. They changed the final drive and the throttle delivery, but it is such a good bike. The previous model to this I had on long-term loan from BMW for almost a year. Did track days on it, loved it, loads of power, did a bit of touring on it, and then they went on and improved it. Quickshifter, so nice. Feeling is good. It's just got so much grunt. It's like a weird thing because with naked bikes, it's like how much power do you need? There's an M version, there's, you know, Tuonos and Streetfighters and etc. And they've got so much power you can't hold on to them. But this, I think, 100 and high 160s feels about right. Sounds good. Quickshifter works well. Dash is as you would expect from BMW. Familiar BMW dash with the navigation wheel. I still think it's one of the best dashes on the market. Oh, we're just hitting the brakes for no reason. Must panic. Still panicking, are you? I'm just going to go around then. And despite its size, it's reasonably chuckable. Nice wide bars. But the chassis is basically the sports version. We're basically on the sports bike with, and what BMW has just put some straight bars on. What was interesting that I didn't really realise until later on, and I was chatting to the guys at 1000 PS, is that because of that geometry, BMW fitted quite a stiff steering damper to it for the stability. So when you come to stuff like this, where you're changing direction and putting some effort through the bars, you can kind of feel that you're working against that steering damper that's quite stiff, and it's not adjustable. It's not like agony or anything, it's just noticeable. I didn't, to be 100% honest, just thought it was a bit heavy steering at first, but it's actually down to the steering damper and not the geometry. We've got cruise control, we've got a navigation wheel, menu button, SOS. We can change the suspension, we can do absolutely everything. So what you're thinking is, Chad, you really love this bike. I do. But there is a massive but. As there always is. The base price is like between 13.5 and 14 grand. That's fairly expensive. Then you put the M Sport kit on, which this has got. Then you start ticking some boxes, and you can easily go north of 17-18 grand and get close to 19-20 grand without getting too carried away, which in my mind, once you get above 15-16, that's getting expensive. And to be honest, once you start ticking some boxes, you can get close to 20 without even getting too carried away. And if you're comparing it to other 160 to 170 horsepower bikes, I mean, that is quite stiff. What should we do? We can switch the traction off and on the move, which I kind of like. We will change the mode. We will go for Dynamic Pro. Now the argument of it costs you more money does, fucking hell fella, does mean you get the very best of everything. So if you want the best, you got to put the money in your pocket and spend it. Because when I change the modes, I'm also changing the rider aids, throttle delivery, but I'm also changing the suspension. Now this is fine when the road's like this, because this road is perfectly smooth, grippy, we're on the Bridgestones, loads of grip, not a problem. But some of the roads we rode yesterday were horrendous, like mega bumpy, what we would class as B roads in the UK. And that's when I went into the road mode and had a softer setup and softer fuel delivery and softer suspension. Where on a conventional bike with conventional suspension, you just, that's it. The suspension you picked is the suspension you've got. Where on the Beamer I can play about and change the modes and change the suspension depending on the road. And it's really simple and easy to do. You've got a big mode button on the right hand side, which allows me to do that. Right, I've got a few hairpins coming up. ABS is okay. Brakes are strong. But no ABS on the rear at the moment, which is quite nice. And I say I can turn the traction off with that button there if I want to. I can play with the menu. I've got the navigation wheel. There's a lot going on to keep me amused when the road is a bit straighter. But when you're on a road that's this good, then you kind of want to be concentrating on the road and remembering which side of the road you're supposed to be on. I really, really like this bike. I like the looks of it as well, I like the style, I like the build quality, I like the dash, I like the power. I'll forgive it for being a little bit heavier steering with that damper. I like the position of the bars, position of the pegs, I can take a pillion, I can put some luggage on, I've got cruise control, I can dig out some miles. If money was no object and I was choosing a naked bike, this is probably the one I would go for. Because some of the ones like the Streetfighter and the M version of this and MV are over 200 horsepower and they're a bit too much in a naked chassis on the road. But this for me is absolutely just ticks all the boxes. But it's a lot of money, which I know, like I said, if you want the best you've got to pay for the best, but it is a lot of money. And if I was spending 18 or 19 grand on a naked bike, that's a bit difficult. Ooh, nice little burble there, I like that. Because there's some excellent bikes that are a lot cheaper, like Honda's Hornet for example. It's 9 or 10 grand. Alright, it doesn't have the rider aids, the dash and everything, blah blah blah, it's not as powerful, but it's still 150 horsepower naked bike that's really good fun and handles really well. And this does deliver more. It is a better bike, don't get me wrong, than a lot of the competition, but is it 3 to 6 grand better bike than the competition? That's the big talking point. But if somebody else was buying me a bike and spending the money's no object, the wife's feeling generous, then please visit the BMW dealer. I'll take that one, please.